Happy Monday. Today's Monday motivation is about fear.
Of not being good enough.
Yeah. So, and how that has affected us and kind of what we do when it happens.
Yeah. I just want to start it off with, normally last couple ones have been just like conversation, but like it's kind of be a little bit interviewee.
Yeah.
So, Brandy, why don't you tell me about a situation where you felt like, oh crap, I'm not good enough for this, and where that fear was kind of misdirected, where you actually ended up coming through and doing great.
Yeah. So like, he told me he was going to ask me this, and my response was, that's all the time. Every time I get asked to do something. Probably the most notable was I got told that I was going to be put on this project, and this project was for a really, really large client. And in my head, I was like, why did they pick me to do this?
Yeah.
I don't even know the framework. I haven't built something to that scale before. And everything in my head and inner being was like, you can't do this.
I remember that time with you. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was just totally shocked. And I remember I had to completely change my way of thinking because nobody there had ever built something like this before. Nobody knew the framework. So it didn't even matter. And I understood that the reason that I was put on the project was because they knew that they could trust me to get it done. And that's exactly what I did. I had to kind of get over that fear of not knowing what to do and embrace it as a challenge to grow my skills as a developer, and also, going into projects not knowing what to do.
I think it's like one thing that's a quality that we don't normally think about that people in higher positions will recognize is determination.
Yeah.
Like you can tell when somebody is more inclined to quickly give up on something, like that's just their personality, versus the person that's just like headstrong, no matter what, I'm going to figure that out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a very attractive quality that can separate you and get you an opportunity that's like both of you don't know anything, but if you're the more determined one, a lot of times that's the person that's going to get put on the project.
Which is true for me because I know I'm not the best programmer out there, ask anybody, but I guarantee if you give me something, I will figure out how to do it. A, because there's the internet, and B, because I'm surrounded by smarter people. I have Josh who's been programming far longer than me. We also have a community of friends that are developers that I can ask. So, same question to you, Josh. When has there been a situation where you've let fear kind of take over?
Yeah, it was when I was actually first getting into programming. It was when I was spending a lot of the time like reading and doing practice tutorials, and it was fine. And I ended up joining this game development company, and they brought me in, and I think I sold myself more than I actually could back up my skills.
That's a good thing.
And so I remember they brought me in front of this individual who was an advisor at the time, an incredible programmer, somebody I really respected. And I didn't really know him that well, but they put me in front of him and said, hey, this is the guy that's going to build our API for this game. I had never built an API before, never. I'm not kidding you. Following that meeting, I Googled how to build an API. But that was like, they immediately put that expectation on me that I was building this API for them, and I was like, oh my gosh, I freaked out. Like, not visually to them, but man, that was freaky. And honestly, it came from a point where I realized if I wanted to really do this, I needed to actually take a humble stance, right? Because when you're in a position where I can do anything and I don't need anybody, you're almost setting yourself up for people not wanting to help you because they kind of want to stick it to you. Be like, all right,
see you fail.
Yeah, you're being really cocky, like you're gonna fall on your face, and they might actually get enjoyment out of it. But at my point, I was like, man, I am scared. And I had some people that I knew, fortunately, and even this individual that I really, really respected, I just really was humble and said, hey, can you give me some pointers or show me an example of a project that you've built so that I can build this the right way? And when you come from that humble perspective, you honor them, you respect that individual or somebody in your life, whether it's involved in the project or not, they're very inclined to help you because people naturally want to help.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
You're just
Definitely.
drawn to that. It's why we see a person in need and you almost feel sympathy and you're like, I want to help that person.
Yeah.
Now, that's also the way it is from the dev world. So I learned that, and it was fear that was misplaced. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be found out. These guys are going to think I'm really stupid. And it's actually the people that I was afraid of that thought I was stupid helped me the most and were the biggest encouragement to me to actually push through and actually successfully build this thing for them. And so that was a super cool experience for me that I realized. And one thing that I noticed, was like, it's just a final thought on that, was that the difference between the senior developers and the actual other developers was the fact that not that the senior developer actually had all the answers. They would be scared to take on a problem as well, but it goes back to the determination.
Yeah.
They were determined to figure it out. Even though they were freaked out, they still went after it and ended up a lot of times succeeding in what they did.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's kind of a little bit of my example.
If you could give like one piece of advice or what you do now to deal with that feeling, because I'm sure like for me that feeling doesn't go away. I still feel that all the time.
No.
What's something that you do now?
One thing that I do is I surround myself with people that are way smarter than me.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
So I married him.
You're really good at a lot of things I'm not good at, though. So like, it was a strategic thing to get married for us, as well as love. But no, but it's really true. Like that example of early on, what I just told was something that I do now. Is when I'm going into something, I try and surround myself because I know that I might not know how to do it, but if I'm like have a good relationship with somebody that's way smarter and probably knows how to do that thing, I feel much more confident because I'm not just betting on my skills, I'm betting on them, and a lot of times you come through, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
What about you? If there was one thing you do to conquer that fear, how do you kind of manage that in your life right now? What do you do, and what would you recommend for them?
Okay, so I think for myself, when I start feeling, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough, I instantly stop thinking about that and I start focusing on the project or the person that I'm serving at the time. Because, you know, we're all in a place where we're serving others. And once I do that, I realize that I don't have time to think about myself in the equation because I don't really matter. Like, my feelings about not being good enough don't matter when it comes to helping this person or this company. So I put all my effort into figuring out their solution and solving their specific need. That's what I do.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's because fear really is like a selfish sort of internal motivation, right?
Well, it really is. It
Yeah.
just drives your thinking inward when we're supposed to be, you know, serving outward. So when I'm spending time, you know, wallowing in my own fear of not being good enough, I'm not helping my client. So you need to stop and just recenter yourself or like refocus and just push forward and think about how you can better that project.
Because a lot of times you're way more capable than you actually think you are.
Oh my gosh,
Way more
yes.
capable.
All the time.
If you're not in a place where you're constantly feeling out of your comfort zone, like, crap, I don't know if I can do this.
Hey guys, sorry about the video footage. Something happened on importing and exporting it out. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome Monday. And if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. I would love if you would subscribe to my channel below. Thank you.